Well, good morning, and here we are at the Ciutat Esportiva in San Juan d'Espí on pitch number 1, the Tito Vilanova Field. The time here in Barcelona is 6 minutes to 11, and as you can see, we've got a training session about to start. We'll be showing you the first 15 minutes or so of that. It's starting a little bit earlier than normal today, and that's because at 12 o'clock there of course is the big moment of the day. It's the Champions League semi-final draw. Barcelona of course involved in that after the two spectacular displays against Paris Saint-Germain, winning 5-1 on aggregate. And of course the potential opponents in that draw could be Real Madrid, so we could get a Clásico Champions League encounter. Not for the first time, that would be the third time that Barca and Real Madrid have met in the semi-finals of the competition. Madrid progressing once and Barca progressing the other time. Otherwise it could be Bayern Munich, which of course would mean a historic re-encounter with Pep Guardiola, who's doing so well as manager of Bayern. And of course the third option, Juventus from Serie A. Haven't won the Champions League, Juventus, since 1996. Haven't been in the semi-finals of it since 2002. And it's nice to see Juventus back up there with the big guns, because they've been absent from the later stages of the Champions League for so long, and it's refreshing. Beautiful day in Barcelona today, as it has been for the last month or so, really. Summer definitely knocking on the door. Something around 17 degrees centigrade today. Not a cloud in the sky. Later on today, of course, Luis Enrique is going to be giving a press conference. In theory, that's starting at 12:30. I would imagine that he's not going to speak until the Champions League draw is over. Obviously, that's something that a lot of people are going to want to ask him questions about. So as usual, we can't tell you exactly when that's going to start, but sometime around 12:30 Central European time. Luis Enrique speaking before the cameras. And of course the Champions League isn't the only talking point. Tomorrow it's Derby Day in Barcelona, 4 o'clock Central European time, at the Powerade Stadium, which is what the El Prat Cornellà Stadium is now known as. The Powerade Stadium, home of Espanyol, which is just a 5-minute drive down the road from the Ciutat Esportiva here in San Juan d'Espí. Espanyol versus FC Barcelona. Just 6 games of the Liga season left to play. And this is possibly being earmarked as the most tricky of the ties that Barcelona have got left. A derby is never easy. Espanyol always raise their game when they're playing their local rivals. And it's a stadium that creates a lot of pressure, so it's never a comfortable place for Barcelona to go and play at. And Espanyol aren't doing too badly at the moment. They haven't lost for 6 games. They won spectacularly away to Villarreal, beat Bilbao at home. Could have beaten Levante, but were denied a 2-1 win by a late Levante goal last week. 2-2 the result. Seems really Espanyol, who got to the semi-finals of the Copa del Rey this season, perhaps found it a little bit difficult to be competing on 2 fronts, because since elimination at the hands of Athletic Bilbao, they've They've been doing very well indeed. And they're currently 10th in the table, but they do still have aspirations of qualifying for Europe, and there's nothing the Perico Budgie supporters like more than scuppering Barca's plans. So it's going to be a fascinating game tomorrow. That's 4 o'clock Central European time. As always on the eve of derby matches, Luis Enrique and Sergio Gonzalez, the manager of Espanyol, are going to be meeting for the traditional photograph together. That's going to be later on today as well. So anyway, here we are with the training session. We saw earlier on Andres Iniesta, who scored that Maradonian, or didn't score but set up for Neymar with that Maradonian run, the goal against Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday night. Still concerns that he's carrying trouble with his back. He did say he played with some amount of pain against PSG, but it certainly didn't seem to affect his performance. So the players are gathering now for the traditional rondo exercise, which always starts off every training session, and which apparently was instigated by an Englishman, Vic Buckingham, when he was manager here all those many moons ago. What a glimpse of Andres Iniesta just there. I think he insists that there's nothing wrong. Luis Enrique insists there's nothing wrong. So, and there's Jordi Alba, who's also been struggling with fitness, but I think he's 100% fit as well. So it's all very good news squad-wise going into the Espanyol derby tomorrow. Pretty much a full-strength squad that FCB can field. Well, while Barca are away to Espanyol tomorrow, Real Madrid, who are still 2 points behind in the league table, they're playing away to Celta, and that we know perfectly well that's not an easy game to play whatsoever. Celta, like Espanyol, do still harbour certain hopes of squeezing a place in the Europa League. We have the goalkeepers. Claudio Bravo, one assumes, is going to play in goal tomorrow. He's played in every Liga game so far and is on course for winning the Zamora trophy for the best goalkeeping record in the tournament. There was less good news last night, unfortunately, in the basketball. Barcelona were playing the quarter-final series last night against Olympiacos of Greece. Best of 5 series. They were beaten right on the buzzer in Olympiacos, and that means they've lost the series 3-1 and they're out of the final 4. The qualifiers for that final 4, which is being played in Madrid, will be Real Madrid, one of the teams, Fenerbahce of Turkey, and CSKA Moscow of Russia. Unfortunately, Barca have missed out on that one last night. On a brighter note, this weekend is the UEFA Futsal Cup, which Barcelona are playing in. That's being played in Lisbon. Barca's futsal team's first opponent is actually going to be Sporting Lisbon in the Final Four. Sporting Lisbon, the host club. Tricky fixture. Barca looking to retain the trophy they won last year and become European champions for the third time in 4 years. So the draw for the Champions League starts at 12 o'clock Central European time. Also there'll be the draw for the UEFA Cup, which Sevilla flying the flag for La Liga in that one. Dnipro of Ukraine the other side, along with 2 sides from Serie A in Italy, Napoli and Fiorentina. All smiles with the players this morning. Andres Iniesta was speaking to the press yesterday. He was asked whether the potential of winning the treble this year gave him vertigo. He said not at all. Naturally, he's very pleased with the way the season's going, and in the middle of the circle there is someone who's certainly very happy with the way things are going at the moment. Mr. Luis Suarez can't stop scoring goals at the moment. Really coming into this decisive stage of the season. Just 10 games potentially that Barca have left to play, that's all. 6 games in the league, the Copa del Rey final with Bilbao, the 2 Champions League semi-finals against the opponent we'll discover later on today, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the final, the Grand Champions League final in Berlin in early June. Just 10 games to go. Luis Enrique, he's always very quiet during the rondo session at the start. I think he reserves his instruction giving, so to speak, until the cameras are switched off. Of course, we only get to show the first quarter of an hour of these sessions, and after that the rest of it goes on in private, because we can't have the prying eyes of Sergio Gonzalez finding out Luis Enrique's plans for tomorrow in the derby. Is in fact the oldest derby in Spanish football, the Barca Espanyol game. Espanyol, of course, formed just 1 year after Barca in 1900 as the Sociedad Española, originally they were called, the Spanish society based around university students. quite some historic rivalry between the two clubs. Well, there's pretty much no doubt what these players will be doing once this training session is over. They'll be heading for the nearest TV screen and watching the draw. The general buzz seems to be that Bayern Munich is possibly the preferred rival in the semi-finals, for the simple reason that there's a general feeling of confidence that there's a better chance of beating Bayern over 2 legs than just over 1 in the final. That's the general buzz that's being rumoured in the press, mind you. I mean, the players generally have made the diplomatic comment that they don't mind who they play. Certainly that's what Iniesta said in his interview yesterday. At the end of the day, they're all tough rivals. Those 17 European crowns between those 3 teams. 10 of those belong to Real Madrid, 5 to Bayern Munich, and the other 2 to Juventus, surprisingly, really. They've only won the title twice. Juventus winning once in 1985 in those tragic circumstances at Heysel, and in 1996 against Ajax Amsterdam. So the players are now ending the exercise. They're starting to do the stretching, which generally is an indication that we're going to lose the signal. So thank you for listening. We'll be back around about 12:30 Central European time, about an hour from now, with Luis Enrique's press conference, where we'll be able to listen to 2 particular issues. One, the Champions League draw, so we'll find out who Barca are playing, and the other thing, of course, the derby tomorrow with Espanyol. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you in about an hour's time.